Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, my dear brothers and sisters. This is another lecture in the fiqh. We're in a kitab of prayer, the salat. Woman, a sheikh says, and then the sheikh says in this new lecture, وَمَنْ عَجَزَ عَنِ الْقِيَامِ فِي الْفَرِيضَةِ. Whoever was unable to stand up while he's praying the duty prayer, the 5 prayer. Salla jalisan, he prays, he's sitting down. If you are unable to stand up, then you sit down. But if you are unable to say Allahu Akbar while you're standing up, then you have to. And then you sit down. And then you sit down. فَإِنْ عَجَزَ عَنِ الْجُلُوسِ, you said you are able to say Allahu Akbar while you're standing. You say Allahu Akbar and then you sit. Or you are even not able to say Allahu Akbar. You're just sitting down. Okay, no problem. You sit down and say Allahu Akbar. You're ill. If you are ill so much that you cannot even sit down, you are in the hospital, on the bed, you are lying down. If you cannot even sit down, then you lie down. You cannot lie down if you can't sit down. You cannot sit down if you can't stand up. You must stand up. This is the priority. Those are for Salat al-Farida, of course. The Sunnah, yes, you can't pray while you're sitting down, but even if you can't stand up. But in this case, know that the ajr is half of the ajr. It's not full ajr. It's not all the ajr. You get half of the ajr. If you pray sit down, Sunnah. You are praying Sunnah and you're sitting down and you can't stand up. If you can't stand up and you still pray while you're sitting down and you pray Sunnah, is okay, is accepted, but is a half of the ajr. But the Faridah, no. You must stand up. If you cannot stand up, then you sit down. And the ajr is completed, inshaAllah ta'ala, because you have uzr, you have a reason for that. Then the sheikh goes into very, very important topic. And that is sujood al-sahu. The sujood al-sahu, prostration for the forgiveness, forgetfulness, i.e. When you do sujood, because of that you forget doing something in the salat. You forget to do something in the salat, then you do sujood. When you can't do sujood, we will come to it now. وَالْمَتْرُوكُ مِنْ صَلَاةِ ثَلَاثَةُ أَشْيَاء. The things that are left in the salat are 3 things, are divided to 3 parts. فَرْضٌ وَسُنَّةٌ وَهَيْئَةٌ. The fard are the pillars, the sunnah that we mentioned, one hayat that we mentioned in the previous lectures, i.e. they are divided to these 3 parts. وَالْفَرْضُ لَا يَنُوبُ عَنْهُ سُجُودٌ السَّهْوِ بل إن ذكره وزمان قريب أتى به وبنى عليه وسجد للسهو. i.e. if you forget a pillar, i.e. the arkan that we mentioned, the arkan that we mentioned, for example, reading Fatiha, for example, ruku', for example, sujood. Those are, if you forget it, then you go back as all the rest that you didn't do it. You start from then. You do the ruku' and then you complete it from there. All the rest is invalid that you've done it afterward. For example, maybe you done 2 rakat and then you remember. You're in the 3rd rakat and you remembered. In the 1st rakat you didn't do ruku'. Then you go back, you do ruku'. This is the 1st ruku', and then you do sujood, and then you come up, then this is the 1st rakat you've done. The others are invalid. And there are more explanation in this. We don't want to go into it. There are some scholars, they say that, the second ruku' is for the 1st ruku', and the 3rd is for the 2nd. But anyway, it's best that you go back, you do the ruku', and the rest is invalid. The main one is the valid, and the first one, and the rest is invalid. So you do that. You do the ruku'. You come back and you do the ruku', and you do the sujood and everything, and you finish your salat. And before you do the salat, you do 2 times prostration for the forgetfulness. Because you forget, then you do the sujood because of that. Then you do the sujood and then you do the salam. Because of that mistake you did for the fard, you do the sujood. والمسنون لا يعود إليه بعد التلبس بغيره لكنه يسجد للسهو. That means the sunnah, for example, in the second rak'ah, you didn't read tashahud, you didn't read tahyat. You say at-tahyatu lillahi, as-salawatu wa-tayyibatu. After the sujood, when you come up from the sujood, okay, you straight away went up and you didn't sit down for the tahyat. If you have not started the Fatiha, you can come back and do the tahyat. If you started the Fatiha, then you cannot come back for the tahyat. Okay, you forget to do the tahyat and you went up and you said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then you remembered. You didn't do tahyat. What you do is, okay, you don't go back. You do not go back for the tashahud. Before you say salam at the end of the prayer and the end of the salat, before you do the salam, you do 2 times sujood, and then you do salam. And then you do the salam. Then you do the salam. This is important thing that we need to know, because most of the people, they ask, I didn't do the first tahiyat in the dhuhr. In the second prayer, I didn't do the first tashahud that I should do. What should I do? Then this is what you should do. You should do the sujood 2 times before the salam, and then you do the salam. والهيئة لا يعود إليها بعد تركها ولا يسجد للسهو وإذا شك. Okay, so the hayat that we mentioned, saying Allahu Akbar and the other things, if you forget it, saying Allahu Akbar, I mean by the hands, moving your hand and all of that. Allahu Akbar by itself, the saying Allahu Akbar is rukun. You must do it. The hayat, the other things that we mentioned, if you do not do it and you forget to do it, then in this matter is okay. You cannot do the sujood, but it prefers to do the sujood before the salam as well. Before the sujood as well, you should do the salam, because we have the fard, the rukun, that you must do it. The sunnah is okay if you don't do it, and the hayat is okay if you don't do it, and you can just do the sujood as-sahu. But that doesn't mean you just leave it out and not do it. No. That if you forget it. If you forget it and you didn't do it, then it's okay. But the pillars, no. Even if you forget it, you must go back and do it. But the rest is okay if you don't do it. If you forget it, then it's okay to not go back to it. ولا يسجد okay. وإذا شك في عدد ما أتى به من الركعات بني على اليقين ويسجد للسجود سهوي قبل السلام وهو سنة. And here this Sheikh saying that you do not know, you forget, have you prayed 2 rak'ah or 3 rak'ah or 4 rak'ah? You don't know. You are not sure how many rak'ats have you done. In this case, Sheikh says, you say the minimum. For example, you have a doubt, have you prayed 2 rak'ah or the 3 rak'ah? Then Sheikh says, you did 2 rak'ah. You make the list, and then you continue. You don't know, have you prayed 3 rak'ah or 4 rak'ah? Then you just say you 3 rak'ah. This is the 3rd one you're doing. There is a 4th one is left. Then you come with the 4th one, and afterward you do the sujood. You do the sujood before you do the salam. Before you do the salam, you do the sujood. And the sujood is before the salam. قبل السلام, before you say the salam. This is the second topic the Sheikh wants to mention, is قبل السلام, is before the salam. وهو سنة. What is sunnah? I.e. Sheikh is telling us sujood sahwi is a sunnah. You forget to do something in the salat and then later on you remembered. I.e. for example, you forget to say Subhan Rabbi al-A'la in a sujood one time. Okay? Or you forget to raise your hand when you go into ruku' or when you go to sujood. Then later on you remembered. After you remembered, and then before the salam, you again forget it again. You forget to do the sujood. You forget to do a sujood. So what you do in this case, in this occasion, you forget to do sujood, then Shaykh say is sunnah, is okay. I.e. you forget to do the sujood and you did the salam, and you didn't do the sujood. And after the sujood, after the salam, you remembered. After the salam, you remembered. You didn't do the sujood. Sheikh says, is okay, no problem. The sujood al-sahwu is a sunnah. Sujood al-sahwu is a sunnah. Is a sunnah. If you don't do it, it's okay. There's nothing on you. It's not that you do the salat again. Some people, they say, I forget something and I didn't do the sujood al-sahwu. Then I should pray again. No, it's okay. You do not need to pray again. It's not necessary to pray again. The sujood al-sahwu itself is a sunnah. There is another topic that I want to mention on this occasion, and that is, what if a person did more than one mistake in the salat? For example, he didn't raise his hand. This is one, and in the sujood he didn't say Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, and he didn't sit for the first tashahhud. The second rak'at you're supposed to sit down and say at-tahiyatu lillahi as-salawatu wat-tayyibatu. He didn't do that as well. This is 3 mistakes. He did 4 mistakes. How many times does he do the sujood al-sahwu? He only does a sujood al-sahwu once. I.e. 2 times he does a sujood. He only does it 2 times. He does not do it 6 times because of 3 mistakes. 3 mistakes, 6 times sujood. No. You only do 2 sujood. 2, not 6. This is something that we should be aware of on this matter. This is the end of today's lecture. Inshallah ta'ala, in the next lecture, we come with a new topic. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.